Normally quite skittish birds. This is one of the best sightings I've had of them in a long, long time. Now, wing stretch, they're incredibly fast flyers, and because they congregate, not only do the mammal predators take advantage of them, but you also get dark chanting goshawks and other birds of prey that will whack them as they come down to drink. Not at all. A snipe is actually an aquatic bird, a wading bird, whether these guys are very much arid land birds. Oh, he's about to take off. Try get on them and stay a little bit wide, and you'll see how that's about perfect, how they explode into the air. And sometimes when you're walking in the bush, they give you a big fright. They explode straight up. They've got one of the most wonderful calls. They sound even more like a 1960s Bond villain's computer than even the green pigeon does. Like, they got very, very cool call. So we're right on the southern edge of Cheetah Plains in an area that isn't too often used, and we've got some big old male lion tracks here. Now they are from last night. I think, there we go. So you can see where they've walked down the road. Now they've crossed into a net, so there's a good chance tomorrow morning they could be on Chitwa, or they might even be back on Djuma. So it sounds like the Birmingham boys are back in the area after visiting the Kruger National Park. Now the other cat I'm looking for in this area is Kuchava, which is one of the few leopards I've never seen. So I am very much looking forward to meeting her. Now there is a little ravine up ahead where we do have a bit of a black hole when it comes to signal. Let's just move up towards the edge, see if there are.
So we were looking to try see if we could find a way into where Hosana had his little tortoise or terrapin. I couldn't actually get an ID before he carried it away into the bush, but it was unfortunately too thick. We just couldn't find an angle to get in there, and so we just came to see if with him playing around and moving, if maybe Xongile was going to wake up, but she is still very, very, very much asleep. As you can see there, she is probably more asleep than what she was earlier. She's almost falling off the branch of her head now. She's kind of slid down slowly as she's been sleeping there. But yeah, he was kind of in the thicket and he was playing around, and all I could really see was grass moving, and that was it. We couldn't even see an ear or a head or a tail or anything. So I was hoping with the disruption and with the amount of grass movement and things like that, that potentially she would wake up, but no, unfortunately not. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to go around and just see if I can get another visual of him. If there's nothing on him, then I think we're going to carry on and try to come back a little bit later when it gets a little bit cooler, and hopefully by then both of them will be up and playing. There's lots of water around, so maybe they'll have a little afternoon drink. So we'll try to see if we can do that. So let's just quickly have a little sneak around and see if we can just find him. And so while we're sitting with these two, I just remembered now that it's their birthday tomorrow. Isn't that exciting, eh? 1 year old. Pretty incredible. So in celebration of their birthday, we are going to be doing a special fireside chat tomorrow evening at the end of drive. So we will be having a little chat about the cubs and celebrating 1 year of having these two magical creatures in our lives. They've been an absolute treat to have with us, so promises to be a good evening, and we hope all of you will come and join us for that. So Like I say, I tried to get into this impenetrable thicket, but there was really no way. All we got was just tall grass, and so we ended up getting actually quite close to him, but we couldn't actually see him. But let's see if maybe he's come out a bit. He was really right on the edge there. Can you see anything there, Jandre? Negative. No, I can't see anything either. So I think what we'll do is we'll carry on, and then we'll come back here a little bit later and just see what they're up to. But what we're probably going to do now, it's starting to just cool off a little bit, so I'm going to take a slow drive towards the hyena den and try and see maybe if Gwen is there and her little ones. I believe the little ones were seen this morning, so would be nice to go and catch up with them. But we're going to go across to Jamie while we're on our way there, and hopefully we'll be back with some good news.
I was going to say, talking about hyena dens, but I'll tell you in a moment what I was going to say. Meantime, Viam's just pointed out something particularly interesting. Now, one of Viam's favourite things to do with us when we're driving along is to yell, "Leopard!" Awkward. So that you've had just enough time to take your foot off the accelerator and are aiming for the brake. Isn't that right, Viam? Mm-hmm. That's what you love to do. As you on the brake. I mean orchid. Leopard orchid. Now that is a leopard orchid. It's a type of a plant that grows parasitically. Sorry, not always parasitically, because these are all on dead trees, but grows along trees like knobthorns and leadwoods. But what's interesting is that there were two here, and Viam would know, because Viam likes to use them to play tricks on us, don't you, Viam? Mm-hmm. And now, all of a sudden, there isn't a leopard orchid. Oh, there is actually. There is. Part of it's growing up here. So it's just one side of it that's been mangled. So leopard orchids do grow some extraordinary flowers, some really, really beautiful flowers. James, of course, one of my favorite pictures of James was one where he was climbing up into a tree to have a look at a leopard orchid. We took a little bit of a leopard orchid, if I remember correctly. It's something to do with romance, and if you plant it somewhere else, then your love will grow like the leopard orchid or something like that. I can't remember. But I'm guessing, the only thing I could guess that would have gone for that is an elephant. Maybe a monkey? Or a giraffe? I'm not sure. I've never seen a leopard orchid being eaten like this before. Anyway, just an interesting observation. I'm guessing elephant. But I've never ever seen one eating a leopard orchid. I hope it seems to have survived, which I'm actually quite grateful for, and which I'm sure Viam is quite grateful for as well. Right, talking of hyena dens, Tristan is on his way to the one presumably with Gwen, and of course that joyful discovery of her two cubs that obviously survived, and have also obviously not seen a vehicle in a very, very long time. I'm on my way to go and see the other hyena den in the hope it's active. Let's go to Brent, who's found you something unusual.
Oh, look at this. It is one of the smallest birds of prey that is resident here. And we see them flashing past, but we never see them sitting so nicely like this. And I actually spotted him while he was chasing a dove. Look at that. And I think this is our second quiz of the day. What little bird of prey is this? It is, oh, this is such a good sighting. You never get such good sightings of these little guys. So if you know the answer to this, remember on Twitter, #SafariLive or questions at WildEarthTV. Now, he's an accipiter, which means he will eat lots of different things, but they do specialize in hunting other bird species. Look at that. I was convinced he was going to fly before we were going to be able to get him on camera. I'm so excited that he didn't. Oh, this is just too nice. Now, what you want to do is when Craig zooms in again, you want to look at the eye color, the beak color, and the leg color. Now, there are not too many of these little guys around. Now, Spirulina thinks it could be a kestrel. It's not a kestrel. Now, as I said, are we on full zoom there, Craig? Let's get a bit tighter on the eye. You want to look at that eye color. That eye color is very important when it comes to identifying this little guy. Oh, off he goes. Oh, he's pouncing on something. What did he go for? Oh, he's just landed again. He went after something there. I'm hoping, and he's landed in the light now. So I'm just going to try sneak a little bit further forward, hoping that he doesn't take off again. Oh, there he goes. Darn it. And is he going to spot him somewhere? No, he's gone. Oh, that was magnificent. Such a wonderful sighting. And remember to look at that eye color. Now, we've got African goshawk, way too small for an African goshawk. African goshawk's quite a bit bigger than that. So not an African goshawk. Now, it's not a hawk. Well, it's a sort of a hawk, but not really a hawk. Okay, come on, guys. Now, that eye color was what gave it away, between two. And pygmy falcon, unfortunately, was also not correct. It seems like the raptors are getting you guys today. And it is so rare we get such a great visual of that little raptor. I think I've only ever had one really other good sighting in 2 years. Now, we're taking our time as we move through the southern area. As I said, an area not too many people come to. It's not a peregrine falcon either. Very different body posture for a falcon. I will go through all the different pictures once we have a correct answer. Now, it's so wonderful if you just take your time, and we are also looking, we've moved into the area where Nkanyeni is as well. We have another answer. Black-shouldered kite is also unfortunately incorrect. Now, remember the yellow legs. Are we getting closer? So, a little sparrowhawk. It's not a little sparrowhawk, but we are in the right sort of area. Sparrowhawks and goshawks. Well done to NKP. It is indeed a shikra. Used to be called a little banded goshawk. So there we go. So remember that cherry red eye or orange eye, and no white rump when it flies away. So that was the thing. Now the little banded goshawk, or the little sparrowhawk, sorry, which is the one we can get confused, has a very yellow eye. Sorry, my hat out of the way. So the yellow eye was the giveaway. Other than that, they can be very difficult to tell apart. Now, we did have someone say falcons. Now the falcons have got a completely different body posture. So it's kestrels. So there we go. So if we have a look, where's peregrine falcon now? There we go. No, that's African hobbies. There we go. Peregrine number 3. You see quite a different body posture. Very different shaped bird. Much rounder head. And they're generally going to be flying quite a lot higher. Now, I'm hoping to catch up with the peregrine falcons that Tristan saw a few days ago, and I saw yesterday, but we weren't on air, as we head out into the open grasslands and the big southern plains of Cheetah Plains. Now, Nkanyeni was also in this area yesterday afternoon. Was it yesterday afternoon? I think so. Yesterday afternoon. When was I with her? Yes, yesterday afternoon. So she hasn't been found again, so I'm just having a good look around here. Now, I know Siberia Zumi was asking for some impossible birds like bitterns and rufous-bellied herons on the sunrise safari. And the only place we're likely to find a bittern, really, this is sort of ideal, but they are very rare and they move quite big distances. So, and often you have to spend a lot of time sitting very still to spot a bittern around little pans like this. They tend to be very well camouflaged in the grass, in the water. Oh, I hear a bird of prey calling up ahead. Let's see if we can. There's a dead tree, and more than likely it's going to be sitting in there. You got it, Craig? I don't want to go too close in case it flies. There we go. There, I heard it calling. And there's that bird of prey. Oh, this is could be a bit of a tricky one again, because it is an interesting color morph. And now, there we go, listen to him calling. Now, we have seen them already. We have seen him already this afternoon, but now we've got a slightly different color morph of the same bird. Now, a lot of the raptors' calls are quite difficult to discern. They often sound very, very similar. But you can immediately tell that it is a bird of prey. Now, listen to that, isn't that beautiful? Now, this is another morph of the steppe buzzard or common buzzard. Actually, you can see, if we go back in a bit closer, please, and can see that, turn your head, you can see the barring on the flanks. Oh, what was that bombing him? Something's bombing him, something's upset that he's there. Now, again, we're looking at the yellow eye. Just go up a little bit for a second. Up the tree. It's a flock of white helmet shrikes that are attacking him. Oh, we can hear something absolutely fascinating as well. I don't know. Okay, are we picking that sound up on ambient? Ooh. Oh, I can't. I'm going to see if I can find what's making that sound. And while we do that, it sounds like Tristan's finally decided to try catch up on the bird list.
Yes, Brent Leo Smith, I cannot let you get too far ahead, but given this is a marathon and not a sprint, we will slowly tick them off, although you've done some very good birding this afternoon, and so Brent, I think, has streaked ahead quite far between this morning and this afternoon. But here we have a beautiful European roller. And he is sitting perfectly in this beautiful afternoon light. You can actually see those bright iridescent blues on the throat and wings coming through there. So he's being very, very kind to us, being nicely out in the open. Find that they like to sit in trees like that are not too foliated, so there's not too many leaves around where they are perched, and that is because they have actually quite a big wingspan. So when they take off, they don't want leaves all over the place that they get cluttered up, and it becomes very difficult to get off the branch and fly. And so those are perfect places just to drop off and be able to open those wings without any hindrance. And this bird will be hunting mostly insects. So any of these little butterflies that are flying around, dung beetles, any grasshoppers and things like that they can find. So he's on the lookout probably for any morsel that gets pushed up out of the grass, and that's why he is perched right there. But absolutely beautiful bird. And as the name suggests, these guys come all the way from Europe. So they come from North Africa and Southern Europe, and they then fly southwards for our summer, so they can coincide with the mass insect activity that happens during the summer months, and then they go back to the northern parts of Africa to be able to follow the insect hatching as the northern hemisphere starts to get their insects. And I believe I didn't get your name, so hopefully Jerry will pass it on again, but we were talking about migratory birds. So Kristen, you were asking about whether this is a migratory bird, and indeed it is. So this bird, like I was saying, will migrate to North Africa and then up into Southern Europe as well. So they do get seen in Spain and Greece and those areas, Portugal, and then, like I say, North Africa. So they do migrate quite a big distance, and you'll get different types of migrants here. At this time of the year, some will migrate within South Africa, some migrate through Africa, and others even from as far as Russia, which is pretty incredible. And they won't be with us for much longer, unfortunately. They're going to probably be starting to move northwards. They normally start leaving us at the end of February, so it's probably only about another month that we've got them before they start going. All right, but we're going to leave him to enjoy that bit of sunshine. We're going to carry on to Jamie and see how the bushwalk is going.
The European rollers will leave us at the end of winter, and we're sort of all hoping that at the end of summer they'll leave, not at the end of winter. They'll come back at the end of winter. I was going to try and say that we're all hoping that the hyenas have properly returned to us. So this is the Philemon's Cutline Den. And we came here this morning and we saw a girdled lizard. Girdled, let me try and pronounce that clearly. Girdled lizard, not girdled lizards, girdled lizard, moving in and out of the entrances to the holes. And I said that I didn't think that a girdled lizard would be, it's really hard to say, a girdled lizard would be brave enough to do that if the hyena cubs were in residence. However, there were really, really fresh tracks, and that's been confirmed because we're walking with Rexon. And Rexon says Rexon, by the way, is a guide who works for the lodge at Djuma. He says he can see very clearly, and you can see very clearly, I can see a track here, that the hyenas did come here this morning. The tracks are really fresh. They did come here this morning. They moved around here, and right up to the entrance to the den. But they never went into the den. And in fact, looking into the den, I can see the track of the girdled lizard going all the way in there. It's a sort of, I don't know how to explain exactly where it is. I think it's going to be a little bit tricky to see. You got it. Never mind. VM's on it. There's the track of the girdled lizard going all the way in. And I think you'll all agree that it would be a very silly girdled lizard. Try saying it 5 times fast. Girdled lizard, girdled lizard, girdled lizard, girdled lizard, girdled lizard. That's really hard. The girdled lizard would be very stupid indeed to have entered into an active hyena burrow. We would have been very stupid to be sitting like this at an active hyena burrow. Not really, because the hyena cubs would necessarily hurt us. And I've been right up to the entrances of hyena dens before. I once pulled a hyena cub out of a tree. It had got itself stuck in a raisin bush very similar to the ones that grow on this termite mound. It had obviously jumped and got its paw, I don't know how to describe it, it was a sort of a V in the branch, and it had got its paw hooked into the branch like this, and it was dangling from it, and the foot was getting bigger and bigger, and this poor little thing was wriggling and squealing, and it was in a closed system, not an open system like this, and the hyenas had been going through a very, very tough time at that point. So we got out and we chased the adults away, and we wrapped this little thing's head in a cloth. We actually wrapped the entire little thing in a cloth. Picked it up, lifted, it was a jacket actually, now that I remember, because that jacket had to be thrown away, it smelled so bad afterwards. Picked the hyena cub up, put it down, whipped the jacket off it, and it sat there like this, dead still, and stared at us. And then we backed away and it shot into the hole. So where I was going with that story is that it's not necessarily a hyena that would attack us if we stood out here, but hyena dens often get utilized by things like warthogs, and that you really don't want to have come barreling out of the hole towards you. That would be hugely unpleasant. They do move very fast, and they tend not to stop. You can see shards of bone around here as well, from back when our hyenas were here. Kristen, you want to know whether or not the hyenas? No. Tortoises and lizards will ever share homes. Not as far as I know. So generally tortoises, there's not that many tortoises that actually properly live in termite mounds or underneath the ground. Speaks do, which is the poor tortoise that got run over by the elephant. Speaks do actually live in holes in termite mounds. Would they occupy it at the same time as a lizard? Maybe. I guess they could. I mean, what they're really going to do about it? If they object to the presence of the lizard, all the lizard's got to do is move out of their way. And they're much, much faster. So I guess it's possible. Perhaps a small lizard. I suppose it's possible, but I don't think it's all that common for them to share homes. And of course, lizards tend to be quite active throughout the year, whereas tortoises definitely do estivate. So they definitely go into that period of dormancy where they go and their metabolism slows down while it's dry. I haven't given up my quest for hyena dens. I still wonder, because they came here this morning. Why were they here this morning? What brought them to this part of the world? There is another old hyena den. I've never seen it active before, but I have been told that there is another hyena den a little bit further here. And that's what I'm going to aim to do this tomorrow morning, and go and investigate it. My goodness me, it sounds as though Brent and Tristan have been forging ahead with their birds. Let's go and see which one Tristan has found.
We are indeed, Jamie. We are pulling away slowly. I think Brent is still quite far in the lead at this stage, but it's all about quality and not quantity sometimes. And we have had two really nice sightings, and this is of a slightly larger bird than the roller. This is a brown snake eagle, and this is one that is just starting to come into its adult plumage. You can see there's a little bit of feathers around the head that aren't quite brown yet, so it's busy coming into its adult plumage now. And we actually saw it flying from the ground up onto that tree, so I don't know if maybe there was something that it tried to go after. They don't catch every single snake that they go for, so sometimes they go down and they miss, and the snake gets away, and then they go up into a tree like that. But that is a perfect place to be looking for any signs of snakes, and a day like today is great snake hunting weather. This bird will have thermals as well as heat that will be making the snakes move around quite a bit. So the snakes, given that they are cold-blooded, they need warmth to be able to move, and there you go, it's taken off. It's not diving on anything, it's just finding a different perch. Maybe a bit windy up on that one. I saw it was battling to put its foot down, so maybe it landed in a funny way and there wasn't enough space for both feet, and so it's made its way to a better branch where it can sit a little bit more comfortably. But very, very nice. So we went to go and check the hyena den. Unfortunately, no activity. It seems nobody was home. There are still obviously quite fresh signs from this morning, but nobody home this afternoon. It still is a little bit warm. I was kind of hesitant to go at this time. Like I say, it's probably in the next half an hour or so it will start to get a little bit better and it'll start to get a bit cooler, and so you'll find then the hyenas will be out a little bit more. It's still a little bit too warm now for them. But I believe that the young ones that we're seeing are quite big, so hopefully we will get another new set quite soon. And on that note, while we carry on looking and scratching around to see what we can find, we're going to go across to Brent, who I believe has a rather large herd of buffalo.
Well, it seems like Norman the Gnu's got some invaders on his patch. There's a herd of about 200 to 250 Cape buffalo out on this lovely open grassland, slowly moving towards the north. You can see they spread out. And I was hoping by checking behind and seeing if there were any lions watching them, but alas, no such luck. And our good friend Norman is also out here. Is she gonna fly into shot? No. Who's that? Oh, we'll go after her just now. I think I know exactly where she's gonna land. It's a female comb duck. She's gonna go land in that pan. There she is. Oh no, she decided she didn't want to land there. Lovely camera work there, Craig. So you can see the female lacking that big comb on her nose that the males have. Hopefully we will find a male comb duck shortly. And we've got Norman the Gnu out here as well. Where's he? He's somewhere over there. Here he is, sharing his patch with a large herd of buffalo today. No sign of the Cheetah brothers. Oh, it is absolutely stunning down here on the southern plains this afternoon. Oh, jackal in front of us. It's a black-backed jackal. It doesn't know we're here yet. There it is. Oh, look at that. They are one of my favorite creatures and one we don't get to see too often. Oh, it suddenly... No, I don't think it was us that gave it a spook. Could have been some birds. Where's he gone? He's gone into that long grass. I wonder if he's after plover's eggs or lapwing eggs. Oh, he's back onto the road. Oh, look at that. In that golden light, they are spectacular. Now, Jilly's... Oh, now he spotted us. Jilly's wondering if we ever get Cape foxes here. Unfortunately not, Jilly. They are one of the arid species. They don't come into the wet lowveld. Oh, isn't that too gorgeous, running through the green grass? Yes, we're not going to do anything to you, buddy. Now, while we were sitting here, it seems to be all happening here. So we rolled forward a bit because Norman was looking at something. I think Norman was looking at that jackal. He's disappeared into the... Oh, there he's out in the open again to the right. Busy jackal this afternoon on the march. Now, we had a very bedraggled looking carmine bee-eater fly over us, but now no sign of it so far. So let's just see if we can catch up with those comb ducks and see what else is down here. I always want to make sure what Gnomnus is checking out. No, I thought he was looking at something. Now, especially on these open plains, you've got to keep your binos handy, and it's quite often you're looking at stuff at big distance, and even just to spot the stuff. Now, there's that two little sets of pans up ahead that the comb ducks seem to have been enjoying. Sorry, I have to check every stump in case it is a cheetah. Oh, wouldn't it be magnificent to have those cheetah boys rearing at full speed across these plains in this golden light. It is getting about the time of the day when cheetah like to start hunting. Remember, they are crepuscular, so most active at dusk and dawn. Okay, let's see if those comb ducks are here. There were also some white-faced ducks here last time I was here. Hello, Mario. Mario is wondering what other types of jackals do we have here. We have the side-striped jackal, and they are more omnivorous than the black-backed jackal. It's got a far more meaty diet. Oh, it looks like those comb ducks have ducked. So they're not in the little pan here. Okay, well, we're going to keep checking. I'm hoping we catch up with the common bee eater. Oh, wait 1 second. Huh. It's a Cory busted stump. So it looked, that bender there, it looked like a Cory busted for a second, and I got very, very excited. False alarm though, but I think in the summer we might get some Cory bustards around here. And we're going to keep checking. Sorry, I keep getting distracted. There's so much around. Tristan's got another feathered friend to show you.
We do, and unfortunately, as you can see, it's busy wiping its beak. It just ate a grasshopper, so it was busy devouring the grasshopper. And funnily enough, actually, it was trying to scrape it on this abrasive bark to get rid of the head, and it actually dropped most of the body. So even though it's cleaning its beak now of little bits, I wonder if it's not going to fly down and try and see if it can find the rest of the body of this grasshopper that it didn't manage to swallow. But look at that. Look at how they clean it. Amazing how clean birds actually are. You would think that with a beak like that it wouldn't worry too much about maintenance, but you can see it's kind of keeping it nice and clean. And isn't that beak absolutely beautiful in this golden light? So this is a yellow-billed hornbill. It is a very, very common hornbill species that we get here. We see them quite regularly. And there was another one with it, but it flew away. So they are in pairs at the moment. They will be breeding. It's that time of the year that they do breed. And generally they'll try and find holes in trees where they'll make their nests. But just got to get the other side of the beak quickly. Beautiful, beautiful bird. Now I heard Brent was trying to pull rabbits out the hat and use stumps as birds. Unfortunately, Brent, that's not going to work. You need to have ones with feathers and a heartbeat for this to count, and so we are slowly but surely catching up, and hopefully we'll be able to overtake Brent fairly shortly. But isn't that absolutely beautiful? Alright, so we seem to be trading blows here. We're going to go back to Brent, who seems to have a feathered friend of his own.
Now, we've seen the female, and Craig did some incredible camera work following it. Oh, what's that landing next to the comb duck, the male? Are we on full zoom? Yeah. It's a grey-headed sparrow next to the male comb duck. There we go. 2 birds for the price of 1. And that impressive comb to attract the ladies, like that female we saw flying past a little bit earlier. Oh, the light out here in the east is just spectacular at the moment. Oh, are they coming back, Craig? Incoming? Ah, that's where they're going. So there's a secret little spot of water. Here comes some white-faced ducks going to fly. Oh, they turned around. I thought they were going to fly right past us. There is some little ravines there. There we go. Oh, they're going to land. Nope, so there's water in that grass there, and the two white-faced ducks just landed there. And it seems like there's Egyptian geese to the left of them as well, out on the open, grazing on the grass species. Ooh, Craig, I know I'm chasing you around. Just come out quickly, and on the road opposite us, right there, there's a little bird running along the road. Oh, that's a nice difficult one as well. Now, oh, don't fly. Oh, there's two of them. Oh, there goes the male comb duck now. Oh, it's all happening here. He saw where that female landed. And is he going to disappear into that grass as well? Oh, he's doing a flyby first. Fantastic camera work, Craig. Sort of reminds you of one of the sort of old fighter planes and that's the one we were looking at earlier. Is he going to come round us again? He seems like he's struggling to get going. Oh, is he going to land? Sorry, Craig, I'm sorry, I was watching the duck. He's going back to his stick, I think. There we go. Maybe that female didn't appeal to him. Now, Christine says, comb duck is not on her list of birds. Is there another name for it? Indeed, there is, Christine. It is also known as a knob-billed duck, but recently it was changed. So I'm going to try to see if we can find that. I'm not going to count the African pipit. We just saw the visual was too brief, but we could see the white eye stripe there. And let's see what else is out and about here on these luscious open grasslands. And we've got 250 buffalo, we've got comb ducks, white-faced ducks. And I'm hoping to catch up with that lone and very sad-looking carmine bee-eater, looking a bit bedraggled. Oh, nice. There's a nice bird. Very pretty bird. So on that far left, a little bush on the top left hand side of it is a little pin-tailed wider. Are you on it? Yes, right up at the top. Here we go, very pretty bird. Now that's, oh, off he goes, the male in his breeding plumage, and he'll be brown and nondescript during the winter months. Oh, we got some more lapwings here. There we go, lovely little crowned lapwings, beautiful little birds who love these short grass plains. Now back to our comb duck. Jonathan is wondering, is that comb used for hunting or is it used for collecting berries or anything like that? It's not. It's purely to attract a female. They are grazers, so they eat grass off the grass stems, so they don't eat berries and they don't eat anything else but grass. So that knob is purely to attract females. Okay, well, look at those. The buffalo seem like they're coming slowly towards cheetah plains. You can see them there, enjoying the lovely green grasses. Every now and then we just hear that. Oh, what's that? Who would like to know how Gnormalus Gnorman the gnu and Normal Norman the gnu got their names? Well, I can't really. Oh yes, it was down here on Cheetah Plains, and we saw this wildebeest regularly. We decided he needed a nickname, so we went Brian and I went through a bunch of nicknames, and then someone sent in Gnormless Gnorman, and we decided we liked that. And then we went across to the next open area, and we found another GNU, and you could call him Gnormless as well, so he became Normal Norman, Gnormless's arch enemy. Now, let's go across here on top of the dead stick just to the left of the guarri bush. There we go. Now, I couldn't see what... there we go. We can see what it is now. Another really nice bird. The lesser grey shrike. Now, we have been seeing them around Cheetah Plains for the last little while, but they normally occur in far more dry areas than this. So that's another lovely bird for the February list. A lesser grey shrike. Now, we must check on any thorn bushes around here, because they are great at impaling insects on thorns, so they can snack on them later. So I'm going to go check some of the thorn bushes if I can see any handiwork of the lesser grey shrike. It seems like Tristan has managed to find a single bird. Let's go have a look.
We have, Brent. We've managed to find a beautiful black-bellied bustard that is just sitting in the shade of trees on a little elevated mound. They really do like to sit in places like that. It's the perfect place for them to climb up and then start to call. Now, while we've been sitting here, it's called repeatedly, and it has the most entertaining little call. So I'm hoping it's going to do it while we're sitting here. It has been calling quite a bit, so it would be really nice if it does. You can see it's doing a bit of grooming there, so a little bit of keeping the feathers nice and clean. So hopefully it will do it. Like I say, if it does call, you'll find it will peek its neck up, and then it will kind of draw in some air, and then it makes a high-pitched sound followed by a little popping noise. It is really quite entertaining. So we can see it's a black-bellied bustard now that it's turned around. If you have a look there, the black is... There we go. Isn't that awesome? I love it when they do that. It's really cool. It's such a cool little sound and so unique. There's no other birds out here that really make a sound like that. So really cool. And like I was saying, it's a black-bellied bustard just because you can actually see the black that came down from the throat here all the way down onto the chest. Now, the reason why it's got that black coloration is because this bird, when it's walking around in the grass, as you could see there, was quite well camouflaged. And then a predator comes along and it disturbs this bird and it flies out, and then all this jet black is on the wings and the tummy and the throat area, and that predator sees that bright black and is watching the black as it flies away. And then when that bird lands, it tucks its wings in. Sorry, it's calling again. There we go. So he's quite vocal, this guy. He's talking quite a bit. I wonder if there's not a female around. So as I was saying, he'll tuck the wings in, which will help camouflage, and it will basically deter that predator, because the predator will get very confused. It's going to be used to looking for jet black, and then all it sees now is this camouflage pattern on the back wings, and so it gets a bit confused and often then just walks right past them. So quite a clever strategy that they've got. Let's see if it will call for us one more time. You can see it's almost listening. So cool. I love it. They really are cool birds. Well, we're going to leave him there and let him carry on calling. Hopefully he'll have some luck with a feathered female that will come along, and we're going to carry on and just see if we can slowly start making our way back towards Xongile and Hosana. It's getting nice and cool now. It's much cooler than it was when we left them, and hopefully they'll be up to some antics. Hopefully we'll see them out and about by that water there. Maybe Hosana has come out with his little tortoise or terrapin. Like I say, I didn't get a clear view of which one he had, but I'm sure just given the location it would be a terrapin more than anything else. So we're going to go and have a look and see if they are still there. Alright, so as we go there, we're going to go across to Jamie, and she's going to say her goodbyes before the sun sets.
I'm going to say my goodbyes before the sun sets, but it hasn't set yet, which means we've got time for one more animal crime scene. We've already seen a tortoise brutally squashed by an elephant, and we've now got something very interesting that happened here. So scorpions live in burrows, or burrowing scorpions do anyway. Some of them live under bark. But a burrow just like this would have been a perfect hole for a burrowing scorpion. Unfortunately, though, being in a burrow doesn't necessarily guarantee your safety, especially when there are creatures around that perhaps might decide to come and dig you out. And unfortunately, that is what happened to our dear departed friend, who once upon a time was quite a large scorpion, judging by the size of those pincers, so quite a large glabrophrons. Opisthothalamus glabrophrons, another one that you can say 5 times fast. I'm not going to. Here's a little remaining part of its tail. So this poor scorpion, and you can actually see quite clearly, this poor scorpion was dug out by something. And the question is, who dug the scorpion out? Or by whom was the scorpion dug? Never mind. You get the idea. So something dug the scorpion out. I'm not sure which creature it was. But on closer examination, I've come to a conclusion, and my guess is going to be a honey badger. And the reason I say that is the style of digging. So initially, it actually looks quite neat, doesn't it? I mean, it's got a neat little hole that it's dug out there, and then the sand is all gone in one direction. But you can actually see here is an entire clump of dirt that would have sat, I imagine, somewhere like this, has been displaced. So that was pushed all the way up there. I've done a terrible thing because now this is going to collapse on my crime scene. No, there we go. So that's been completely lifted out. There's no claw marks, but if we look at the mud, it's crusty, or the dirt, it's crusty. Even where it's been dug onto these leaves, it's become crusted onto the leaves. So that tells us immediately that this happened probably before the rains on Sunday. You know the ones where VM and I were utterly soaked and had to drive back with all 4 sides of the rain covers closed. So this happened before the rain, and I think that's why we can't see the charismatic sort of defining feature of a honey badger kill site, and that is the deep scrape marks of the claws, because honey badgers have phenomenally long claws, to the point that the claw marks actually stick out. They stick out of the track by about a margin of about an inch or so, or just about, that they tap into the ground. So
together. So even though we had a little technical glitch on Bushwalk and with our feed, we've managed to sort everything out, and just in time too to see the two of them reuniting. It seems like she's come down, and they're now going to have a bit of a grooming session. So this is very, very common amongst siblings. Often when they've been separated for a little bit, they'll come together and they'll start to groom one another, and that's all just to reaffirm the bond. So they're basically just trying to establish that it is indeed their brother or sister, and then to strengthen that bond between them, so that if they do get separated later, they should know that it is one another. But isn't that super cute, the two of them just grooming? And you can see quite clearly there the size difference between the two of them. Hosana is really that much bigger, although Xongile seems to have caught up a little bit. I saw them about 4 or 5 months ago, and it was really very noticeable how much bigger he was. But it seems like she's caught up a little one. But she really looks like she's absolutely loving that grooming. You can see he's getting into all those hard to reach places, so into the ears. There she is now, also on the ear detail, and that's because that's an area where ticks really love to go. The ears are very, very soft and full of blood, so the absolute perfect place for a tick to go and try and get into that bloodstream and feed off that blood. So these two are trying to keep their ears in nice condition so that they don't actually allow the ticks to settle. I'm just going to reposition ourselves slightly just so we can maybe get a little bit of a different angle on them. So there are some other vehicles that are here. They ultimately gave us the update that she had come down the tree, so that's why we made our way quite quickly to come and see what was going on. We've got to be a little bit careful. There is some mud here and some water that we don't want to end up in, but I think that will be a lot better from here. It looks like, there we go, that's quite nice from there. You can actually see the two of them a little bit more clearly, a little bit more of an open patch from here. And isn't that absolutely sweet? The two of them busy grooming each other. It's really quite a beautiful picture, that. Oh, now grabbing brother by the head. Stand still, is what she's saying. It's very difficult to groom you while you are moving, so pin the head down and then get to work on those ears. You can see she's actually doing a little bit of a biting motion, so what she'll be doing is actually using those front teeth to be able to nibble on those ticks. If she's licked and the tick is not coming off, then those teeth help to be able to just grab it and be able to pull it out. If there's also little burrs or grass seeds that are stuck in there, the same reason. Now I wonder if that little terrapin or tortoise managed to escape. I hope so. Like I say, it's very seldom that a leopard would crush through it. Those terrapins and tortoises have really very hard shells, and very few things can actually go through it. I've seen leopards multiple times try and not get very far. I've even seen lions try with them and also not get far. The only one I've seen really effectively crunch through those is hyenas, and obviously after Jamie's bushwalk, apparently big elephants when standing on them. Still feel very sorry for that little tortoise. It's not a nice way to go at all. I must admit, I would not want to be stood on by an elephant, that's for sure. But you can see they're both looking around quite a lot. Oh, and a big yawn. And indeed, I believe a lot of you have been commenting on how nice it is to see the two of them together and interacting, and I couldn't agree more. They really are so sweet, these two, and particularly when they're playing together. You can see a little bit of teeth being shown there. So I think Hosana being so much stronger, Xongile's got to be a little bit more aggressive and braver in her tactics to keep him away. Well, we have a new viewer. Marie, welcome to the show. So glad that you can be with us and have joined us on this live safari. And you would like to know which one is which, because one seems so much bigger than the other. Indeed, that is the case. The male, which is Hosana, he is the one at the back. So he is the really big guy that is busy walking away there. That's him. And the smaller one that was closest to us at the time when they were grooming is Xongile, the little female. And the reason why there's such a size difference is because male leopards are much, much larger than female leopards. And so because he's a little boy, he's growing much quicker than she is, and that is why there's such a size difference. Oh, look at that, just relieving a little itch on the shoulder blade. So amazing how dexterous cats are. Seem to get themselves into all kinds of positions that I think many yoga people would be very envious of. And it looks like they're just kind of starting to wake up now. I wouldn't wonder if we're not going to see a few games. It'd be really so nice if they started playing in this little marshy area and bounced around in the water and in this long grass. It's really a nice place for them to play. There'll be lots of interesting little things in the grass. You'll find lots of insects that will be bouncing around there, so perfect place. You can see she's still sniffing around. Kristen, when they're grooming, yes, indeed, the tongue is very much as rough as lions. It's got those small little hooks, and sometimes if you're close enough and you're quiet enough, you can actually hear them grooming one another. You can hear those tongues going through the coat with those little hooks. So yes, they are very rough, very similar to what a lion or a domestic cat, most cats in fact, have those very, very rough tongues. It's perfect, like I say, for grooming. You know, it'll hook all those loose little bits of fur, parasites, and those kind of things. So they do indeed. Unfortunately, they seem to have disappeared a little bit. They've gone down into some grass, and it's quite difficult to see them from here. I'm sure they're going to get up and move around. Like I say, it's this time of the day. They're starting to wake up a bit. You can see there's actually a bit of playing going on. They're almost wrestling with one another. You can see Xongile is being naughty and kind of pawing at Hosana's face there, by the looks of it. It's difficult to see who's who now. They kind of rolled on top of each other, so quite tough to tell who's who. But typical siblings, isn't it? You know, when I was a kid growing up with my brother, being the younger one, I used to irritate him no end, and I would do the exact same thing. I would poke and prod until I got a reaction, and it seems that's exactly what's going on here. Little Xongile seems to be poking Hosana and prodding him into a little bit more activity. I'm sure they're going to come out of that little thicket. Chris, they do have a hard time leaving home. A lot of the time it's not up to them. They are not the ones that actually decide to leave home. But yes, it is very tough. You can imagine, as growing up, it's much like when you leave home as an adult. You know, you used to having your parents cooking you meals and looking after you, doing your washing, helping with the laundry and all those kind of things. And it's the same thing with these cats, is their mother really looks after them. She protects the area so that they don't have to fight with other leopards. She'll provide food for them, and she will basically provide an area that they are well looked after. And so when she kicks them out, when she starts to come into her next estrus cycle, then it becomes very tough for them. They've got to now learn to hunt for themselves and look after themselves. And in the case of these two, the male is going to have to distribute out, and he's going to have to deal with all these big dominant males that are now going to see him as a threat, because he's no longer with his mother, and he is potentially going to go into an area where the dominant male that has fathered him is no longer around, and he goes into other males' territories, and they're not going to tolerate him at all, and so they're going to chase him away. So life is going to be very, very difficult when they leave their mom. Now, they should still be with mom for a little bit. They are only a year old tomorrow, so I would imagine that they'll probably still stick with mom for a while still. It depends on the female. Some females kick their cubs out a little bit earlier than others, but generally it's normally between sort of 14 months and 2 years. So hopefully it'll be a little bit longer than 14 months. I really love these two to stick around for longer periods of time. Roger, since we are talking about Tingana, you would like to know whether there's any reports of Tingana today. I don't think anybody's actually found him. We did have tracks this morning. Brent tracked him for quite a while, and he crossed over our boundary onto the western side. So he went up in towards Simambili side, and that is normal for him. That's his territorial patrol. He crosses quite far north into Simambili, and then he should start coming down Arathusa and then back this way again. So I would imagine that we maybe will try and look for him tomorrow morning. Arathusa would be a good place to go and scratch around for him. That's kind of the way he likes to walk, but I don't think anyone found him this afternoon. Being a territorial male, sometimes he does cover large distances, and after we've had a bit of rain and things like that, the roads are quite tough to track on, so it's not easy to track him, particularly in the area that he's walking there. Once he goes into Simambili and Arathusa, there's some areas there that are very dense and very difficult. So you can see both of them very interested in the plane that is coming over. So we do have the odd plane that flies around. There are a few airstrips for some of the lodges here, and so some of the guests do fly in. It's otherwise quite difficult to get here. And so you can see the two cubs were quite interested in that, but not terribly phased. Little Xongile seems to have heard something. You can see she's staring. And back to grooming we go. But isn't she beautiful? I absolutely love her eyes. She's got these beautiful dark kind of brown eyes. It's not usual for a leopard. They generally have a little bit lighter eyes than that. And she's almost got these kind of toffee colored brown eyes. And they are absolutely beautiful. But you can see she's really thoroughly getting into her work there. She's grooming with some conviction. So I'm going to just try and reposition ourselves so that we don't have that tree right in their faces. One of the other vehicles did make space, so I'm just going to try see if I go around a little bit, maybe it'll be a little bit better. Just hold on 2 seconds. Sorry, Jandre, might be a bit bumpy up here. So let's see, from here might be a little bit of a better angle. I don't know. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Like I say, at least we're not got that massive tree behind us. You can see he's curled himself up into a ball and is absolutely loving the attention. It's really quite nice when you don't have to groom yourself. You can just allow your sister to do all the work. But aren't they absolutely amazing, these two? You know, before starting here at Safari Live, I really didn't get to spend too much time with these cubs. It was really intermittent sightings here and there, and I think I only saw them probably 4 or 5 times. But since I've been here, I've managed to spend a bit of time with Xongile, and now today with the 2 of them, and they really are amazing cats. Both of them are so relaxed with our presence, and they seem to be providing some incredible sightings. Chatting to Brent and Jamie and James, they've really been absolutely spoilt with these 2. They've provided hours of endless entertainment. So I think it's only a good thing that we give a little back and celebrate their birthday tomorrow. Like I say, we are going to do a fireside chat tomorrow for them, so those of you who missed it, we will be doing fireside chats at the end of our drive tomorrow to celebrate these 2 little hooligans turning 1 year old. It should be quite an interesting chat, that's for sure. I'm sure lots of the presenters have really great stories about these 2. Seems like he's decided he's settling down a little bit. Hopefully Xongile is going to be a naughty little sister and basically wake him up and try and kind of groom him and pat him around the head with her paws and get him going again. But it seems like he is absolutely out for the count again. Maybe his little tortoise escapade or his terrapin escapade has tired him out. You can see she's still watching quite carefully what's going on. I don't know if maybe she can hear something. That plane that flew over earlier, as I can hear, has just landed, so it could be what's disturbing her and what she's hearing. But nothing like putting your paw over your own head. It's pretty flexible. Well done, Xongile. Well, Kristen, we've been talking about their sizes and kind of the difference between the 2 of them, and you're asking whether I know how much they weigh. It would be really a guess. I mean, obviously we haven't darted them and weighed them or anything like that, so it would just be a hazard, a guess as to what they weigh, judging by kind of their size and in relative to other things. So I would imagine Xongile probably at the moment, she's still quite small, so I would imagine she's probably weighing anywhere between sort of 15 and maybe 20 kilograms at the most if she's eaten, so that's about 30 to 40 pounds. Whereas little Hosana, he's gotten quite big already, so he's almost the size of his mom, so he's probably weighing in a little bit heavier. He's probably anywhere between 25 and 35 kilograms, or closer towards 70 pounds, so he is a little bit heavier, and he's going to get a lot heavier as he goes. By the time he reaches a fully grown adult, he's going to be probably weighing closer towards 180 to 200 pounds, so he's still got a lot of weight to put on. Like I say, she will probably only end up getting to the size of her mom, or maybe if we look at the previous litters from Karula, you know, Tundi and Shadow are both quite small. Shavinzi was also a small leopard, so I would imagine that she'll also be quite a small female when she's fully grown. Probably then she'll only weigh, she's lucky, maybe 80 pounds, but probably not get as much as that. She is actually quite similar to Shavinzi. I see a lot of Shavinzi and a previous litter that they had, which was 2 males. Mishu, he looks a little bit like her. Ziggy, Hosana, when he was walking just now, didn't notice any limp, so it looks like he's okay. I didn't see anything. Genre, I don't know, did you see any limp? No, Genre is shaking his head. He says no limp from him either. So, no, I don't think he is limping. I think he's managed to walk it out, which is really good news. So, I'm glad to hear that glad to see that he's not limping anymore. And you can see Xongile is getting a little bit itchy. I think she's a bit bored of lying here waiting for Mom. Karula, like I say, hasn't actually pitched up to these two since yesterday morning, I think was the last time she was with them. So I'm sure they're getting a little bit hungry now, and they're getting a bit playful. They want to kind of see what's going on. You can see she's playing with branches, and I'm sure she wants to move around a bit. But they know that they can't go too far, because if Mom does come back and does have food, you know, if they've gone far away, it's going to be a battle for her to find them. So that's why they're staying put. But she's definitely got the proverbial ants in the pants syndrome, where she's looking for anything that she can play around with. They really are so cute when they're like this. And it's nice to see, because as they get older, they lose that a little bit. They're not nearly as playful when they become adults. So always nice to see these young leopards like this, these cubs and sub-adults. They seem to have that little naughty streak in them where they still like to play and move around. There we go, back to grooming again. Tell you what, Hosana's going to have the cleanest ear in the world after this afternoon, especially that right ear. The right ear has been targeted heavily, so by the time he's finished with this evening, there should be absolutely nothing crawling or biting anywhere near that ear. Problem is they're both lying in quite long grass, so there are quite a few ticks around at the moment and quite a few parasites in that grass, so even him lying there like that, there'll be lots crawling all over him. So even though she is grooming and keeping him clean, he will still be picking things up as he sits there. But I don't know if you can hear that there's a few frogs starting to chirp, so the nocturnals are still starting to make noise and the diurnals are just starting to quieten down a little bit. Jean, yes, so you were asking whether or not these two will get along when they get a little bit older. They unfortunately won't. What will probably happen is that Hosana, being a male, is going to be kicked out and going to have to move quite a long way away. He's going to come across multiple different males as he tries to search for his own territory, and that's going to lead to him being probably pushed way beyond where Xongile is going to end up. And so in all likelihood, once they leave their mom, they're going to separate out and they probably won't see each other again. If hypothetically he moves into an area where she is also there, once they become older, that drive to mate will take over, and he'll actually then probably mate with her. They will recognize each other through scent, but they won't see each other as brother and sister anymore. He will know that she's in heat, and his drive to mate will far outweigh the fact that it's his sister, and he will then actually mate with her. But that is a very, very uncommon occurrence. I have seen fathers mate with their daughters before. That does happen, particularly if you get a really big male that tends to occupy a territory for long periods of time. Then sometimes you'll find that the father does end up mating with the daughter. And it's not ideal, because any time you have inbreeding like that, it can lead to destruction of the DNA, which makes them prone to diseases and to many other factors. They can also get underdeveloped parts of their body, so it's not ideal. But yeah, they won't be friends past the point where Karula kicks them out. They're going to then separate in all likelihood and probably never see each other again. So Genre has just spotted that beautiful little crescent moon. Isn't that absolutely beautiful? So I think it's busy waning at the moment. I'm not sure. Genre, are we waning or waxing at the moment? I'm not sure. I think we are waning, so we're getting smaller, but that crescent moon is absolutely beautiful. So while we admire that moon, we're going to cross over to Brent and see what he's been getting up to.
Well, we've just been enjoying this magnificent evening, and we're slowly meandering back towards Djuma. I've done a good search for Nkanyeni. I couldn't find any tracks. Maybe tomorrow morning. Nope. we might get some luck. Now, it has been one of those really, truly beautiful African evenings, and we've had some incredible bird sightings today, and I still think that little shikra is my highlight. And also nice to see another big herd of buffalo. Don't get to see them too often at this time of the year, so always good. And nice to know about those Birmingham Boy tracks. Hopefully they'll be back on Djuma tomorrow morning. So lots to look forward to. And as I say, I think February is going to be the birding month before all the migrants leave. We got some really interesting species like the double-banded sandgrass, not a migrant, but not one we see too often. And it's always cool seeing those comb ducks. But I still think definitely for me the shikra was number one. Now, we're just slowly meandering through the northern edge of Cheetah Plains, and I'm going to have a quick look for Tundi as well as we head back towards the northwest into Djuma. And always wonderful to spend time with Hosana and Xongile. Fingers crossed they're going to be around for their birthday tomorrow. That would be absolutely splendid. And also remember tomorrow evening to celebrate Hosana and Xongile's first birthday. There will be a fireside chat. We're looking forward to that. We're going to be sharing some of our favorite moments with those little rugrats. And I'm sure you guys have got lots and lots of favorite moments with Hosana and Xongile as well. But we'll all be sharing our best time we had with them. And so difficult to choose. I've had so many magical moments with those little guys. The squirrel kill, one of my favorites, definitely. But now, I wonder where the Styx Pride are. Apparently they cross south into Mala Mala, and no one's seen or heard of them for a couple of days now. So hopefully they should also be due a visitation back towards Cheetah Plains or Chitwa. Okay, we are approaching the Cheetah Plains Lodge now, and we'll just have a quick look on the open area. See if there's anything out here. There might be some impala, I think, or maybe even if we're lucky some bushbuck moving out of the thickets at this time of the evening. It is just that most wonderful time of the day. No, not much happening out here in the open area. And disappear through a little river system where we do have a bit of problem with signal shortly, and then we're going to pop up and go into Chitwa and have a quick look for Tundi on our way home. Okay, so while we do that, let me not keep you from the next birthday. Hosana and Xongile with Tristan.
Indeed, not long to go before they do celebrate their birthday. It'll just be one last night that they will be under a year old. Then they'll approach the big milestone. But it is so pleasant sitting here. Chandra and I were just talking about it. You know, the two of them are just grooming, and it's all quite quiet other than the frogs that are calling. There's a few bubbling casinas that are making that popping sound. I'm not sure if it's coming through towards you guys, but there's a few of them calling. There's the odd insect that's busy calling, and there's the couple doves that have been calling as well. So it's kind of everything is at a very mellow, very relaxed feel to it, which is really nice. It's been such a pretty afternoon, and look at the color of the sky as well. It's gotten to this beautiful purples and blues. It's absolutely stunning out here. Such a nice time of the day this. It's really one of the best times to be out in the bush. It's probably my favorite time. I always love this time of the day. Like I say, everything's just kind of goes very mellow. Particularly our two leopards, they've gone completely mellow. I think Hosana is fast asleep. Xongile is still busy grooming, but Hosana is down. You can see he's even tucked his head to the side now. Absolutely flat. I suppose when it's your birthday coming up, you've got to get a good rest before the celebration. Who knows what kind of party they're going to have tomorrow. Hopefully it will be a very busy, active one for us, and that we will be able to be there with them. There's nothing like getting yourself groomed and looking good. Alright, so those two still busy sitting and still busy resting. Nothing too... So we're going to quickly go across to Brent. I believe he's managed to find another spotted cat for us.
As we were about to leave Cheetah Plains, Andrew got hold of me and called us right in front of their lodge. Is a single male cheetah, and he is looking quite hungry, and this is the best time of the day to be with cheetah. And as I say, they are crepuscular hunters, which means this is sort of his ideal time to hunt. We're going to try stick with him.
So unfortunately, I think Brent is in a really difficult area for signal, but I believe he managed to find a cheetah, and that's really quite something. It would have been such a nice way to finish up. We've been very spoilt this afternoon. We've had obviously the two leopards, and to finish with a cheetah would have been great. Now when we cut across, Jandre and I actually heard two lions calling. It sounds very, very far away. It sounds like somewhere close to the Kruger Park boundary. I know Brent did give an update that there was tracks for two lions, two male lions, I think two of the Birmingham boys, that were around Cheetah Plains and Coral area on the Kruger Park boundary. So maybe it's the two of them calling, and it wouldn't be nice if they showed themselves tomorrow morning. It would be really, really quite nice. I watched Xongile, it was quite interesting. She perked up and then realized that that sound was so far away that she didn't have to worry at all, and then kind of slumped back down and went back to grooming. So she's not too stressed about it. She can just very, very chilled. Hosana, on the other hand, didn't even bat an eyelid. He was not perturbed by those roaring lions at all. But look at the size of her paws. They're just absolutely massive. Really, really is beautiful. She's still got a bit of growing to do, and her paws are a little bit big for her body still. So she will get a little bit larger. And even those ears are slightly big for her still. Got to grow into all of that. The frogs are making such a beautiful call. Those bubbling casinas, I really, really love those calls. So we're going to try quickly go back to Brent one more time and just see if the signal will hold. Like I say, it'll be a really nice way to finish up.
Okay, we're trying not to move too much. The cheetah's just disappearing into the long grass, and we are right on the edge of our signal range. There you go. Now, this looks to be one of the two males that we see regularly. Now, they've been split for a while. Apparently they were chased by lions a while ago and they got split up. So they have been looking for each other. But he is still... that cheetah is very, very hungry. Okay, let's try keep... I'm going to try to stick above him on the high ground. Okay. Oh, I've lost sight of him, but he should be right here somewhere. Oh, he's behind the tree. There he is. Isn't this just an extra little bonus at the end of the day? I've never seen cheetah in this part of Cheetah Plains before. And what a treat for the last few moments of drive, but to spend it with a male cheetah. Now, there were impala in this area when I drove in earlier, but I can't see any of them now. Now, often people refer to cheetah as diurnal, which isn't entirely correct. It's this time of the day that they are most effective at hunting. Not to say they won't hunt in the middle of the day. Where is he gonna? Oh, let's try and get one last view of him. Into the Terminalia woodland. Oh, it's dark in there, and we don't put spotlights on cheetahs. In here, the last view of the exquisite spotted cat. Watch out there, Craig. But what a fantastic sunset safari it's been with this wonderful little end. And we're in the last minutes of the drive. There he is. And hopefully we can find him on the sunrise safari as well. So from Batman, myself, and the rest of the Safari Live team, it's been fantastic spending the time with you, and we will see you bright and early on the sunrise safari. Let's try to give you one last look of the cheetah as he's disappearing into the dusk. Now hopefully he has a successful hunt. And there he goes. Now it has, as I said, what a great way to end. And of course Tristan's got a lot of catching up to do on that bird list. Tristan and I only saw a golden pipit once, Dix, but from all of us, toodaloo, and see you in the morning.